This is KTN News.
This is proof anything can happen in the youngest show in the country, hashtag Youth Cafe. If you love it, you better go on Twitter, hashtag Youth Cafe. That's what we are using right now. Follow me at Brian_Aseli on Twitter and Instagram. Right about now, the moment we've all been waiting for. We've always wanted to know what clean content is and what's the best way to go about it. We've seen a couple of Kenyan videos being banned. A good example is Alvindo's song, Taka Taka, and of course there's a new song called Shoka, which pia imekatwa Shoka. So right about now, my panel is very simple. Two gentlemen with a keen interest creating clean content, and of course, who else to discuss this but Mwihoko's finest. Seated right next to me is Mwihoko's finest, anaitwa DeSagu Henry. Some call him Sir Henry, ukitaka unaweza muita vile, but of course he's the recipient of the YouTube Silver Baton. Hebu nisalimie 100,000 subscribers.
Thank you.
Karibu man.
Nimependa your jacket, ina meremeta meremere kabisa.
Hii hata nilishonewa na Wakorino.
Utanionyesha ni wapi?
Wakorino moja biri. And of course, also to help me discuss clean content is the CEO of Kenya Films Classification Board, Ezekiel Mutua. Dr. Ezekiel Mutua, MBS, yani Moran of the Burning Spear. Karibu.
Moran of the Order of the Burning Spear.
Sikwezi, Ezekiel Mutua sikwezi. Daktari, sikwezi, karibu sana. There's been a whole lot of things to discuss when the name Ezekiel Mutua comes. Oh. Like anytime you trend, people often go like, Amerudi. And so many young people want to know policy, things to do with policy.
Yes.
What's the criteria of determining this song is a good song, bad song, clean or dirty?
Absolutely. But first of all, let me tell you, this conversation is very healthy. Every time we tread, it's indicative of the growth in the industry. It does not mean bad things. The fact you hear, when you hear this conversation, I always give the analogy of the road. If a road is being used by one vehicle, there's no point of having many policemen, traffic police manning the road. But when the road is busy and there are many users, there are many vehicles, people are swerving and blocking each other, you need the police. That shows you, the more we have a conversation about the film industry or the creative economy, it shows you that this industry is growing. So this is what we do. As Kenya Film Classification Board, our work is to regulate film and broadcast content to ensure that it conforms to our culture, moral values and aspirations. And the philosophy behind it is to ensure that content speaks about us. Every country has its own culture. So principally we exist to do those two things, to ensure that content promotes our culture, moral values and national aspirations. And number two, to protect children from exposure to harmful content. So we regulate in a very scientific manner that when a content comes to us, it is given to the film examiners who use a very scientific criteria, and they call it intensity and frequency of classifiable elements. So they look at nudity, obscenity, vulgar language, and they have a criteria to see how many bad words are in this song, how many bad pictures are in this song.
They
aggregate.
What's the count?
1 to 5, I think, is the once it gets to that, it becomes bad. But there is 0 to 1, 1 to 2. There is mild. There is, there is some that is totally innocuous. Very nice. It can be watched by the family. We mark that one GE, general exhibition. There's another one where there could be some mild elements of classifiable elements. You mark it parental guidance or PG. And then you go on and on. And the idea is to ensure that as you consume content, as a government agency, we have rated it for you for age suitability. So that when it starts and it is given that age rating, then you know. If you have kids who are under 16 and it says not suitable for kids under 16, let them go to sleep. If you say not parental guidance recommended, you need to sit with your kids if they are watching. The idea, you just need to manage. The whole idea is not to control. There's a difference between regulation and control. What we do is to regulate, and regulation is for the good of the consumer. This is what happens. We are like what KEBS is to consumers of, consumable goods. If you are to buy a soda in a kiosk, the reason you take it comfortably without worrying is because you have entrusted the government with the work of vetting to ensure that through KEBS, that soda, that mineral water, the products you pick, they are not concoctions and they are not harmful to you. It is the same with content that we consume. And I'll tell you, it is even worse because what you consume and what goes to your mind, particularly for children, impressionable minds, it shapes your character, your values. And there's therefore a very great nexus between the content that our kids consume and national development. People think, oh, I can watch whatever I want. Kids who watch violent content, they become violent adults.
We'll find out about that. Let's talk to DeSagu, who's been a creator when it comes to clean content. DeSagu, tunataka kujua, how have you been able to be consistent with that? And yet, we look at some of the clips on YouTube, they get ratings because of their vulgar nature, maybe their profane nature, and you've said the count is an aggregate of 5.
Yes.
First, sijasikia ukikasi, sijasikia ukiongea vibaya kwa any clip. What inspires that?
Oh, so basically for me, kwanza I appreciate this, he gave me an award. Daktari. Sasa hivi mkiniona hapa, I'm an awarded, hata mimi ni MBA.
Eti an awarded.
Na nimesikia narusha vocabulary hapa, I thought I was the best. Anasema totally innocuous. Hata sijui meaning. Ati content annexed. Hata yangu ajui atuambie ubwedede ni nini.
Yeah,
what is umbwedede? So basically for me, what happened for me to go online and start doing content online, nilikuwa nimejaribu auditions. So unajua you go to National Theatre.
I've gone for 100 auditions.
But I had this small body. Alafu when you tell me to stand and show you what I can do, nilikuwa nachujwa. Whenever I used to go for audition nachujwa, maybe because of my small body ama my inability to show what I can do. So I realized kumbe my content works good when I'm the boss. When I control content, what I'm thinking and what I shoot and what I upload.
Wewe na Ezekiel Mutua mko?
Ndio siona sasa mimi yangu vile najicontrol, ingine najibana. Mimi ndio huwa najibana. Self regulation. Self regulation.
Kuna ile ushaiunda and then you look at it and say, hey, the daktari, it's not going to make it.
Of course kuna ile utafikiria, alafu I have my team. Niko na my cousin anaitwa Nicholas Ngure, who you have worked for 2 years. You know, it's something you have done for 2 years. So hata yeye kuna ingine ataniambia, hiyo kidogo utachoma. To say itamfikia alete shida, inasemanga hapo utachoma. Hapo utachoma.
Okay, you regulate yourself.
I regulate
and
yourself.
And daktari, kuna kitu watu wanataka kujua. Don't you think you're limiting the young people? Because give you an example, Alvindo, he did a song like last year. Why is it that you came and banned it a year later? Because people are asking, the song Takataka was there and it was supposed to achieve something satirical, something funny, something to laugh about, and then maybe for that situation it served the purpose and it left.
No, it
now
didn't.
The idea, when I talked to Alvindo, he told me that the idea was to just laugh about it and then leave, but it came on later, 1 year, when he decided to ban it. Why?
Not 1 year, but don't glorify it. There was nothing funny about Takataka, particularly given the context where Takataka is about a guy who has been cheated by his lover, and he's saying, when Takataka, if you look at the lyrics, really there's nothing to glorify.
Daktari, how could check up the first time you heard that song?
How would I? You need to be insane.
If you hear the comedy in it, I think it's something to laugh about, and then maybe if you start looking at it critically, the first time
there isn't, absolutely, especially because of the context. You see, we are reading about murder of our women and our girls, those kind of situations where a boy has been rejected by a girl and they resort to violence. So coming at a time like that, the timing, one, is wrong. Number two, you can't promote that kind of content. And there's no market for Takataka anyway. That guy came to my office. Views? Listen, it doesn't matter even how many. It's not about the likes or views. You see, that's the nonsense people live for. The young people, they are driven by likes and their views. You don't pay your rent with views. You don't pay your rent with dirty content. You pay your rent when you create clean content and you get appreciation by society and they support you because you're doing something positive. Look at DeSagu. He was honored by Google and ourselves as a board because of what he did. And immediately, the deputy president of the country called him. The Alvin guy you're talking about, he came to my office, left with his head, bent, and in shame. And nobody, I don't think, is getting rewards anywhere. What we are saying is, you don't have to make it dirty to sell. And we have nothing against him. We want to help him too. I actually told him, bring me a script. I'll sponsor you as Ezekiel Mutua. Up to the tune of whatever it will take.
He has a new song called Boy Child. It's
now I
clean.
want to watch it. If it fits my
clean.
standards,
It's
it has to fit our standards. And since I'll be spending my money, but look, I didn't have to argue. I never met DeSagu until this week. Okay?
And you're good friends. We've been talking about Liverpool and Barcelona. So
Absolutely. But when I saw his content, and when we discussed with Google, and they requested me to join, we joined efforts in awarding him. When Mike of Google called me and told me what he has done, and I went to the YouTube, I said straight away, not only did we give him that plaque that was donated by Google, a commendation letter from the YouTube director, but we also gave him some little cash to improve on the quality of his equipment. And then out of that, what he has done, he has actually is going to contribute greatly to this industry, because we announced the 1 million for 1 million award, which is the like if he reaches 1 million subscribers, he will get 1 million from us. What we are saying is,
what are we supposed to do to make sure that most of our artists get to the 1 million mark?
We are going to work with we are looking for a framework, and we are hoping that we'll be able to do it with Google and YouTube, because they own the platforms, and we want to have a jury that is independent. We'll come up with a criteria for selection, but I can tell you it's going to be based on clean content. It's exactly what he has been doing. And so what we are telling our young people is, don't just do it for the likes. I like the guy who you interviewed before. He said, don't do it for likes. Likes don't pay your rent. Likes will not meet your bills. What you need is to think, those guys who are hyping and saying, you know, Taka Taka is a popular thing, it's satirical and so on. What has he gotten out of it? Who is the market? Because if you look at the Skiza tunes, Brian, the money is in clean content. Do you know, out of the top 20 Skiza tunes, almost 18 are gospel. I'm not saying people must produce gospel music alone, but it shows you people want clean content. The drunk crawling from the bar in the morning, they want to hear something inspirational, something positive.
DeSagu, tell me, creators, are we in position to shape the society through our content? Because there's someone who said that they don't see themselves as a role model. Whatever they do it for their own fun, and they don't think they do it to shape the society.
And by the way, let me correct that before he comes in. It is not true for an artist. If you do it and consume it in your private home, or you close your door and do that private thing, that's okay. Then you don't have to be a role model. When you bring it to the public space, the government regulates the public space. So you cannot say you're not a role model, so you can do whatever you want.
There's an artist
in the
who said
public.
that.
Yes, and that's why we end a tiff with her, because what we are saying is, it's okay if you're doing it privately. The government has no business coming to knock your door and see what you're doing in the house. But let Henry contribute as well.
So for me personally, to say, before I even talk about why for us, maybe you have worked hard to make sure you're gonna clean content, is because first for us, online content creators, CC for us, one, tunategemea advertisement. People pay me to make comedy videos zenye zina endorse their product. So this is what happens. Before they decide to make you a brand ambassador for any company, you know, it's a panel. Any big company, before they give you a job, is a panel. They go and check your content. And I tell you, it's like a fishing expedition. Chanirushe kizungu hapo. Like
Huyu ni DeSagu wa Kiambu.
Tulienda chuo
For
basi in KU, so I'm surprised.
University of London.
So those clients were one thing inaweza fanya uchujwe from that being given that major deal, even if it's an international company. Whenever they come, wanaulizanga watu locals, can we use this guy? Wana checking those criteria, what type of content do you watch? So for us, one area ilikuwa ndio waki to discuss, wanaona ukijana na content mzuri. The second thing, for online people sio must to watch. It's not like TV uko pale ni must to watch. People watch wakiona wanaboeka ama ayofurahishi wanajitoa. So for us, one strategy ilikuwa, kwa nini to create content yenye inaweza furahisha all generation, ndio at least the margin of views ama margin to reach watu wengi. So those were the two areas zenye zilikuwa.
Do you think it's an influence from the Western world? Because most of the people are pointing a finger towards that direction. And they're saying people like Drake, Rihanna, they produce such music and they're getting a lot of views. You'll get people like Dua Lipa, who are from the Americas, who are doing that kind of music, half naked kind of? Do you think it's an influence?
For me, this is the answer I create to that. For me, before I started online, one of the groups that inspired me so much inaitwa Makenjo Comedy. Do you know what inspired me about them is that when they do content, the moment you watch, you know they are Nigerians. Yet the content is watched globally. No wonder they have over 3 million subscribers. So that if we want to sell ourselves out there, we should remain Kenyan. Unaona kama mimi ni Mkenya, DeSagu huyo wa Mwihoko. I should remain that, yet create content that can be watched globally. I should sell our Kenyan culture out there. Sio wale wa huko watuzie sisi. Because whenever ukiona Makenjos, you automatically know they are, but you laugh at their jokes.
I do.
So unaona they hawajaenda extreme ya kufika western ndio watufurahishe. Even their most subscribers wako from the other world. So for me, I think as much as tunaweza leo hiyo tunafuata wale ni their culture they are trying to sell to us. We should fight that by selling our culture to them. Hii hustle hapa Mwihoko tunawatupia. Nao kina Drake wanatutupia zao. I think for me that has been
I want to know, there's only one thing, and it's going to be like a final you'll add on to final comments. You have exactly 3 minutes to explain that. But then license, how do you give the licenses for production? There's been a complaint about the drones, the use of drones in within Nairobi. So many young photographers and also videographers have said they've been harassed in town. So those are some of the 3 things that I'd like you to address. Yeah.
Okay. First of all, for YouTube uploads, we do not give licenses. Okay. But for filmmakers who are shooting out there, they need to have a film license. Our film licenses are the cheapest in the region. I think Tanzania is almost 100 times more than Kenya. We charge only 12,000 per year. Okay, on average, 12,000 per year. But there's a challenge when you go to the counties, you ask for more money. And we have been trying to clarify that film licensing is a national function. So if you get a license from KFCB, it's like a lawyer who has been licensed by LSK. When you go to practice in Nyeri, Malindi, wherever, any part of the country, you don't need to get another license from the county government. So that's number 1. Number 2, the drones are not in our purview. The drones are under the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority. Okay. So that was not our business. Although, to the extent that they affect business, we try to support artists who want to use them, and if there's a way we can give recommendation letters, because Civil Aviation Authority is a government agency, so we also support them. We are also giving letters to artists and filmmakers when they are going to the counties. We are doing that with Africa's Got Talent, so that they are able to be appreciated and supported by the counties. So our role is to facilitate. We are playing a more facilitative as opposed to a prohibitive role, and we are hoping those who follow the law, and they will see the point of following the law, they will have the support of government.
Dr. Ezekiel Mutua, DeSagu, thank you very much for creating time to be here with us, and that's how we finish the show today. Na kuambia kuna lazima niende nikaongee na co-host wangu hapo hivyo.
Unaongea naye pale.
Lazima niongee naye ndio
tunaona hapa watu wa Mwihoko wenye tumekunywa maji.
To move towards this side, and of course, thank you very much for creating time to be here with us. #Youth Cafe continues, and the conversation doesn't stop. We want to make sure that you get to